Hey guys, it's Kelsey. I'm back with another scrapbooking process video, and this is layout 2 with how to kill a kit with style. So for this one, I am getting 3 4x6s on a page together. This is actually probably going to be the last, if not the second to last page for my engagement photos. So I know I'm kind of skipping around, but after doing that one large photo first, I really wanted to do one that had multiple smaller photos. So I'm doing these 3 4x6s. I glued them all together in a photo strip, and I'm pretty much going to do my go-to design for something like this. I love when I have 3 photos in the same orientation to kind of do something like this. I did want to scrapbook a single photo next, but because I want my single photos to be my more layery pages, and this is only the second page I'm doing, I really need more scraps before I dive into that, because I don't want to cut into a bunch of my 12x12s before I've really gotten these other pages done. So this was a good one to do next, because as you can see, I have a whole chunk of that background that's going to be from behind my photo strip that I get to save for another layout. And now my next one, between the scraps from my first page and this page, I'll be able to do a more layery single photo. So that was my thought process behind why I scrapped them in this order. But I love this one too. There's a lot more like pinky and peachy pages in this collection, but for whatever reason, I'm really loving the blues right now. So I know these first 2 layouts are more on the blue color scheme, but I think they just look so nice. So you can see I'm already kind of diving in to how I like to do this type of page. I've added my tag, I've added my doily. I have a scrap here from my first page, and I just used the B side, which is a wood grain plank with some blue accents, and I cut that into a banner to kind of branch out from this main cluster down here. So I'm just trying to get a nice little background like point to anchor my cluster that will be in this area. So I love doing that. That's like my go-to cluster for this type of page: a doily, a tag, and a banner. And then you can pretty much put your title or your cluster or whatever you're going to end up doing on top of that. But it's a really nice base for a cluster, and I love doing this. So you can see I pulled in a text tag from my stash. I inked it, or I will ink it in black, and I kind of thought it was too plain. So you'll see I pull off that tag and try to do some mixed media on it. I had some Dilutions inks, and I thought I had one in a similar blue to the background. But you'll see once I actually add it, it is very, very bright. I don't know why I thought it was more muted, because Dilutions doesn't really do muted colors. They're all very bold and bright, which I love, but not right for this page, unfortunately. So you can see how that turned out. It's a cute tag. Maybe I'll use it on another layout. I try to make it work, and it's just too bright, and it draws your attention in a negative way when you look at it on the page, because it's just too different. But I tried. I did put some black and white twine through that tag. If you guys know from the first layout, I kind of did more gold accents, but this page, because the photos, I don't know, I'm not planning on using gold on this one, so I'm going more for the black and white versus the gold and white. So that's why I decided to do that. But you can see I try to leave it there, and I try to make it work. But it's too bright. It's not going to work. So I think I'm looking at ephemera. This is where I'm going to ink the tag in black in hopes of toning it down some. I also do like that the inked edge kind of defines it from the doily and the banner, because there was kind of a lot of white-ish edges that were blending in. And then while I was inking, I decided just to do the background as well. But yeah, I decided to go in with some black Heidi Swap Color Shine and add some black on top of the blue, hoping that would help. But it's just the blue is just way too dominant. So I'll try it. I give it a go, but yeah, you'll see it just doesn't end up working. I do like the black splatter that ends up staying on the page from where it kind of got off of the tag. So that's a nice little, it's very subtle, but it's a nice little element to have that kind of black splatter around the edges. But that tag, I end up just switching out with a new one, and I just like that better. So I think I'm letting it dry, and I don't know if I have my butterflies on there yet. I can't see. I tried with the black. It's not going to work. I think I'm going to let it sit on my page for a little bit and think about it. So I just kind of move on at this point to see if I end up liking it better as we go. I liked what I did with the washi on the first page, so I'm kind of carrying that in on this page, but again, instead of gold and white, we're doing black and white. So I have a black and white diagonal stripe I'm doing down one side, and then on the other side, because the cluster will be smaller, the other side I want more minimal, I decided to actually do a more intricate washi. So I have the black and white diagonal stripe on this side, and then the other side I have a black and white butterfly stripe, which I love because butterflies are going to be a motif throughout my engagement pictures. So I think this is really nice. And because it's a wider washi, I'm doing a torn edge detail just to add a little bit of texture. And I really like how that ends up looking. So I'm just tearing that washi kind of off screen right now, but then you'll see when I go to lay it down, it kind of has this cool texture and I really like that. So now I'm just trying to tuck it up under the photos there. But I think that's really cool, and I kind of like the different washis on either side, but they still complement each other. I think that's kind of a fun touch. I usually do the same washi on both sides, so this is kind of a fun technique to switch it up like this. At least different for me. I'm enjoying doing that. So I'm just trying to get all that washi down, and then because my cluster on this page is in the lower left-hand corner, I want my secondary smaller cluster to be opposite of that, just so your eye can kind of be drawn across the page. It adds a nice balance. So I am planning on doing a little cluster in the upper right hand corner, but I'm still distracted with this tag down here. So I don't know if this is where I decide to switch it out, or if I see once I add the butterflies back on top, if I like it better. But yeah, it's just not going to work. Once again, same with the last page. These butterfly ephemera, they have a wide white border around them, and I just like them to be more detailed. So I'm going in and fussy cutting the ephemera so that white border is even smaller, and I'm popping the butterflies up on some foam so they have some dimension. But I'm hoping once I add the butterflies on top of this tag, it'll help with that blue mixed media, but that's when I just decide, yeah, it's just too distracting. I don't like it. So I'll switch out the tags in a minute. But I think I'm just playing around with ephemera here to kind of figure out what I want to do. But I definitely know I want to pull in these butterflies, especially since I pulled in that washi. I think that's really sweet. So, and I kind of like the more monochromatic look of this page. It's very black and white with all those blue undertones and background and stuff, and I think that is really sweet. I was stressing out when I was trying to pick our outfits for this. These photos were taken mid-July, so like the hottest part of the year for Georgia. And all of my clothes I thought I was going to wear for our engagement photos, I thought we were going to get our engagement photos done during the fall or winter, but because of COVID, they weren't doing any sessions at that time. So by the time they finally got us in, it was midsummer. So the outfits we had planned were way too warm and not seasonal for the photos we were ending up going to do. So Marcus is easy to dress up. I love dressing him up. And so I knew he was easy, but I could not find the outfit I wanted to wear. And then my mom ended up getting me this white blouse for my birthday, which is in mid-July. So I ended up just doing that in jeans because Marcus had that nice navy top, and we just ended up doing that as our photo. So that worked out really well. And I think it was kind of a neutral and fresh look that I knew would be easy to scrapbook. So it ended up working out. And especially when I saw this collection, I was like, yep, I'm using that for our engagement photos because there's a lot of navy and white. So that was pretty much the process. But I was freaking out up until the morning of the engagement photos, trying to figure out what to wear. I had a lot of options. I really loved the clothes. Like, I loved their my go-to outfits. But as far as like photography, they were either colors that would clash or patterns that would look busy. And so we just went with this and I ended up really liking it. So that was pretty much what I went through that morning. But I have this cluster done now. I swapped out that tag. I like that a lot better. I still inked it in black, still did the white and black twine, but that subtle, that just plain black and white dictionary print was perfect. And now I'm working on the cluster in the upper right hand corner. So again, I want to pull in a butterfly one of those peachy tan leafy sprigs and a blue flower. I did add the remaining cluster from the first page, that floral cluster I saved from the part that was tucked behind the photo. That's over on the left-hand cluster, so I want to pull in that same motif and flower in my other cluster. But again, I'm going through and fussy cutting because I like the skinnier white border, and then again pulling in a butterfly just to go with my other area. But I think that's really cute. That butterfly goes up on some foam. I'm just playing around with the spacing of the flower and the leaves, but I like how this looks, and I think it's a nice simple little cluster and I think it is the perfect balance to what's going on the other side. So I'm going to stick that down really quick, and then I need my title, and I'm going to use those little water droplet looking plastic beads as my finishing touch again, the same I did on the first page. I really like how those look, so I'm going to pull it in on this page as well. But I think I do my title first. And like I said, I wasn't going to go down the gold route on this page, but I did have some small navy foam alphas. I think they're Paige Evans, I want to say. But I had some navy alphas, so I ended up using that instead. And they're the perfect little size. I love these. And I'm just titling this one Lake Acworth. I wanted on one of these pages at least to say where we were. I really love that this is where our engagement photos were taken because Marcus and I both grew up next to this lake. We both could literally walk to it, and even from our house now, we could literally walk to it. So it was a big part of us growing up in our area, and it just felt very like local in us for our engagement pictures to be taken here. I mean, when I was in high school, our prom pictures were taken here, so I just love how everything kind of circled back. It's a beautiful location, but it was also sentimental, so I just wanted to make sure I wrote that somewhere. So I just titled it Lake Acworth, and then here are those little raindrop beads. I think these are so cute. So I'm going to get those glued down, and again, I'm just using my Nuvo glue to glue those down, but I'm just doing 2 in both of these clusters on this page, and that's pretty much it. So I'm going to get those glued down, and then there will be the close-ups, so we'll see how that looks. But this page and the first page I think are both pretty simple, but because the products are so pretty and the photos are so nice, I kind of just want to let everything breathe, and so I really like how they've both turned out so far. I'm excited for the next one because I'll get to do a little bit more layering. So I'll see you on that one. But here are the close-ups. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.